Welcome to What the Mom podcast. You are listening to Doulas Petra
and Jacqueline.
Motherhood can be isolating and hard.
We are two doulas who want to provide a safe place to talk about all things mom,
From pregnancy
to birth,
to postpartum.
to parenting.
Join us as we have real conversations about real life.
Welcome to What the Mom contest.
You are listening to Doulas Petra
And Jacqueline, cheers.
Thanks for joining us.
By myself tonight.
And
Petra will be able.
Yeah.
Petra will be able to have one in the next 9-ish weeks-ish, around there.
Yeah.
Something like that.
32, just about 32 weeks pregnant, so no wine for me yet.
Crazy. I cannot believe you're that close already. I feel like you just announced it yesterday. It's weird.
Yeah. It goes by fast though.
I say it does, but when you're uncomfortable and stuff, it's did it really go by fast? But you've had a really good pregnancy, so probably.
Yeah, some people I guess say that their pregnancies kind of drag out, but mine go by really, really fast.
And especially when you have 4 littles to chase.
The more kids you have, the faster it seems to go.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So Petra, what are we talking about tonight?
Today's topic for episode number 35.
That's crazy. 35.
Uh-huh.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's right. Cheers to that.
35.
Today we are talking about hypnobirthing. A quick
Awesome
crash course on hypnobirthing, what it is and how you can do it and how it can benefit your birth.
Awesome.
So I use this with a little bit with my first birth, but definitely the whole time with my fourth birth, with which you, Jacqueline, were there for. We thought that we would share kind of both perspectives from the person birthing as well as from a caregiver and what it kind of is like.
Yeah, totally. So also hypnobirthing. So just to kind of explain, it's just a way for mom to relax her mind and body, to be able to really focus in on having contractions and letting those waves come and letting them go and letting them do their job without tensing. And so it's you can listen to hypnobirthing tracks, and there's a Christian version and a not, and they basically just go through teaching you how to breathe and focus while you're going through contractions. And I saw this happen in real time, and it was insane. This woman is nuts. She didn't make a peep. We couldn't even tell if she was having a contraction, me and her mom. It was nuts. I was looking at her, I'm is this real? She can't be this close. She's so calm. But yes, with this hypnobirthing thing, she was able to relax. Even at the time I got there, I think it was 9:30, 10 o'clock, and you were laying on your back, and you had to have been at least 5 centimeters by that time. It's insane.
It was definitely active labor already.
You were so calm though.
Yeah.
No one would know that you were actually that far. They'd be like, oh, she's not even in labor yet.
Mm-hmm.
It really opened my eyes to the fact that you can actually do that. Yeah. And I honestly wish that I would have done something like that, because wow. It was really cool. Yeah. So tell us how was it for you?
Well, I'll start with my first birth, which I used a little bit of it. I first learned about it I was reading about different birth books to read to prep for an unmedicated birth. Now, hypnobirthing you can use for medicated births as well. It's still beneficial, but it's obviously extremely beneficial for unmedicated, because you're trying to find ways to relax and not tense up and feel that what some people say is like can become very painful. And the book that I first read was Hypnobirthing, the Mongan Method. So
I've never heard of
Mongan
that.
is the last name of the woman who started doing hypnobirthing.
Wow.
And it was like just really, really cool reading through this book because she shares her experience of birthing her own children using these methods. And then one of her hypnobirthing babies grew up, got pregnant, and she also used the same method that her mom had used.
Wow.
And so they share some other experiences about how that goes. And then she has a few chapters that teach you different visualization techniques and relaxation techniques, and the just something as simple as the breathing techniques, how you should be breathing. And then the book came with a CD that has tracks on it that you listen to. And so the idea with hypnobirthing is it's a self hypnosis, and it's not like when you go to a hypnotherapist or
Hypnotist.
yeah,
Yeah.
and a hypnotist or like any of those scenarios where they cue you to come out of it. You are fully 100% aware of
Yeah.
everything going on around you if you want to be at any moment. So
Yeah.
while I was experiencing this during my birth, I could still hear everything that's happening during those contractions. And then when the contraction ended, I can snap out of it, and I'm done with that relaxation moment that I was using, and I can start responding to people and interacting.
Yeah.
So that's why it's really nice, is because it's 100% self-guided. And the tracks, basically you listen to them throughout your pregnancy, and then they become kind of embedded in your mind. And soon as you hear some of these like cue words or phrases, then it reminds your body to relax, like you've been practicing all along. It's like that muscle memory.
Wow.
And so I had practiced listening to these tracks a lot during my pregnancy, and then I ended up having a hospital birth, because of even though I wanted to give birth at the birth center,
Yeah.
because of high blood pressure. And
Oh yeah, with Ondor.
yeah, with my
Yeah.
first. And we brought the tracks, the CD with us. And I actually forgot about it right away, to be honest. I was just like, there's so much happening. Like, it's my first baby, and the contractions started. My waters had leaked
Yeah.
before then. It was just so much. And then I was trying to manage through all of this stuff, and my husband had put on some like calming music for me, which helped a little bit. But it wasn't enough. I was getting tired, and I just wanted to be able to lay down. I'm like, I wish there was a way I could just lay down and just relax. And Tom, my husband, was like, isn't that what your hypnobirthing is for? I'm like, oh crap, put on the CD. So he quickly puts it on.
That's awesome.
And I lay down on the bed. And until this point where like I start relaxing more, it hurt to lay on the bed. Like I could not, because I'm in active labor. I can't lay on my back without it actually hurting. And
It's the worst.
puts on the tracks, and all of a sudden it reminds my body to relax. And I'm able to finally lay down through, I don't know how many contractions, like quite a few, to just get some rest and be like, okay, I got this. I'm okay.
Wow.
And it was really nice. But then I made the mistake of letting the midwife come and check how dilated I was. And then she tells me, oh, you're 7 centimeters dilated, which was actually very good.
That's not bad.
I'm trying to think, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That would have been only 4.5 hours of labor. And I
And
was
your labor. That's fast.
so then, and my first baby. So then, but in my mind, not thinking about that, I was like, oh, I still have to go that much further. Like I can't do this anymore. And then I'm like begging for like help. And I'm like, she's like, there's nothing, like your body will just do it. And I'm like, I want the Pitocin, like give me the oxytocin. Like I just need to speed it up. So, I caved and then I did that, even though it wasn't my original wishes. But then because of high blood pressure, it can spike your blood pressure. So I got an epidural. So then my whole kind of situation changed a little. And the hypnobirthing was still nice because like your muscles can still tense up when you don't realize it, even if you're medicated. So I
Even
was
if you're
still able to
medicated.
use this kind of to remind myself, okay, this is fine. Um, but that experience was a little bit different, but it was definitely nice when I was doing it unmedicated. So
Yeah.
that birth, I talk about it in our one of our first episodes, right? It was still good. It just wasn't what I originally planned.
Yeah.
And then my second, I used a little bit of the hypnobirthing techniques. I didn't play anything in the background, but I used like the breathing techniques and stuff like that. It helped. My third, I used worship music in the background and it helped, but it wasn't as nice as the
As
hypnobirthing.
hypno. Yeah.
So my fourth one, I was like, I would really like to do the hypnobirthing again.
Yeah.
But I I'm not being a Christian, I'm not a fan of some of the wording that's used in some of the hypnobirthing stuff
And
because
that actually stopped me, actually. I
I'm
didn't
wanting,
know they had like a Christian version.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it talks about like the universe and the energy within and stuff like that.
We personally just, that doesn't jibe with us. And so,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
totally.
as a Christian, that just I didn't feel right using it anymore for that reason. But I
Yeah,
love the
totally get
idea
it.
behind it. And I'm like, there's so many good things about it that really help me. And so I was doing some research and I came across the Christian hypnobirthing app. So
Oh, awesome.
if you go into the Google store or the App Store, you just type in Christian hypnobirthing and you can find this app.
Yeah.
And you can pay either for monthly or for a year. And they have so many tracks on there. They have a couple free ones so you can hear what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And they also have a course. So you can either do the app standalone or you can do it with the birth course.
I didn't
And
know that.
their birth course is really amazing too because
Wow.
they also teach about how birth works and the contractions and what's happening during the process and the reasons
Mhm.
why hypnobirthing is so beneficial with relaxing everything. So if you need a birth course, that is definitely one that I do highly recommend. But I just got the app is what I had paid for with my last birth.
Okay.
And I listened to these tracks throughout my pregnancy. And I had learned that the woman who created this, she had similar thoughts to hypnobirthing as I had had. And she said she loved the idea of it, but she
Mm-hmm.
wanted to add um, some of the more of the Christian aspects to it. She wanted to talk about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. She wanted to use scripture verses from the Bible. She wanted things like that. And she couldn't find anything out there that had that. So she decided to create something for other women who felt like her. And boy, am I grateful that she did because it helped me so much. So then I started listening to this and
Mm-hmm.
it was just amazing at like helping me relax and stuff, even during pregnancy. And
Yeah.
then when labor started, I my plan was I'm just going to have these playing on repeat in the background the whole entire time because
Yeah.
then some of it I might not be paying attention to, but a lot of it I probably still will. And it's still, just being read out loud.
Yeah.
And it was really nice because I had listened to it so much in pregnancy that as soon as I'd hear her voice, even it would remind me to relax.
Wow.
Really, really cool.
That's so neat.
And with my fourth pregnancy, or my fourth birth, I had my waters broken and my contractions started shortly after. And it
So
was
fast.
yeah, really quick. So it was like, well, what did I say? I can't remember now. 7 or 7:30 p.m. My first
You
contraction.
got your water broken at like 5:30.
Yeah. Yeah, I did 5:30. So I was putting
It
my
was
kids to
so
bed
bad. Yeah.
and I had my first like big contraction. I was like, oh, I think I'm having a baby tonight. And like I told the kids that. And then my son, my oldest, was like, oh, there's going to be a baby when we wake up in the morning then. And he was right. So then
There
I was
was
like,
a
okay.
baby.
So I come out of the kids' bedroom and I go to walk downstairs to the living room. And my parents were over already. And my dad sees me stop when I'm walking down the stairs. And he goes, are you having contraction? And then I kind of just like breathe through it a little bit. And I was like, after it finished, I said, yeah, I am. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to start timing this. And I'm like, you don't have to time it. I mean, you can if you want, but like, this is happening. Like, I am in labor now. And so he started timing it. I'd tell him when, but he couldn't tell when I was having a contraction. I'd have to tell him.
No, you
He didn't
can't.
know. And so I'm just like, I'm still talking with everyone. The only way they knew when I was like moving around in early labor was that I would stop talking to kind of breathe through it.
Yeah.
So then I started to feel they were getting a little bit more intense, which means active labor was probably starting. I never had my cervix checked at all that whole birth though. So I don't know 100%. But just going off of like what I know of birth, I was probably starting the active labor phase because it was getting a lot more intense than before. And I decided to go to call. Well, that's when I texted you, Jacqueline, and I told you to come.
It was like
And
8, you told me I could leave. Yeah.
yeah. And oh, I didn't know it was that timing. That's actually really fast then.
It was very fast. You told me around 8, and then I
Yeah.
was on my way, and it was about 8:45. And you're like, oh, I just had a really intense contraction. Where are you?
Yeah.
And I
So
was about 10 minutes away.
that's
So, yeah.
crazy. So then I went and I laid down on my bed,
That's
which
when I
my
got
husband
there.
had made for me. And so I had a while I was just laying on bed in my bed because I'm like, I just need to save my energy for this birth and I need to relax. So I was like, I'm just gonna put the tracks on in the background. So I had them on my phone and I plugged my phone in so that it wouldn't die. And I had it on Bluetooth to our Bluetooth speaker and I just had it playing on repeat. And I laid down and every time I'd feel the contraction coming, I'd take in my deep breath and then I'd do my breathing that it taught me, which is like you take in a nice deep breath for a few counts and then you breathe out even slower. It's like the slow breathing, right? And it helps relax
Slow,
every
relax breath.
yeah, exactly from our past episode.
You have to watch that one. Oh my gosh.
It's so funny. Um, but then I'm hearing some tracks about like they have a gratitude track that talks all about gratitude and envisioning what you want to happen. And gratitude is something that's very beneficial with releasing oxytocin, which helps with birth, which helps with postpartum breastfeeding, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's also a couple tracks that are just scripture verses being read. There's a whole one that's positive affirmations. There's the whole one on breathing. Um, and you can choose which ones you want to play on loop in your playlist. And it's just really, really cool because you're hearing these things, it's reminding you, and then I'm able to just kind of relax. My eyes are closed. I'm just breathing through it. Yes, it's still uncomfortable. It's not like I didn't feel anything at all, but I'm not like ready to scream and cry because it hurts so much. It's just very uncomfortable. And then I'm hearing things in the background and I heard you arrive. I think I was in the middle of a contraction when you came in the room.
Yeah, you were laying down. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm hearing some of the conversations in the background and then I'm able to respond to them in between contractions because I'm relaxed and I'm calm and I'm not in this massive pain. And then I was like, you know what? I feel like this is getting a little more intense because I have to focus a little bit more. I think we need to fill up the birth pool now. So then I hear my eyes are closed and I'm focusing and relaxing, and I'm hearing you guys figuring out how to hook up the hose and fill the tub, talking about the temperature, like how do we know what temperature to do? So then my contraction ends, and I'm like, you just got to put it as hot as you can. You could always add cold water later. And you guys are like, what? Probably wondering why I'm filling up the birth pool if I'm still talking, right?
Yeah, for real. And I think that was around the time I also felt like we should call the midwife. You said, yeah, you could call the midwife soon. Yeah.
When it started, I could feel that it was getting close. Is when I
She
decided to
wasn't there very long.
no.
Like, I want to say we called her around 10:30 and the baby was out just after 12:30.
Yeah. I didn't want her to be there very long. I wanted it to be a very relaxed environment for myself.
Yes. Yes.
I wanted her to be there when the baby was born, but I didn't want her to be there for this long period beforehand.
She
And
was
so,
not.
yeah. And so I waited until I felt like, you know what, I think this could be soon. I think we need to call her to make sure she gets here on time.
I would say it was close to 11 when you called,
Yeah.
when you told us to call. Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure I was in the middle of a contraction when she walked in the room too. I was in the tub already when she came.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much like as soon as the tub was filled and the temperature was okay, I pretty much just got in. I got out twice to try to go pee. Didn't like it at all.
That
Um,
was fun. Yeah.
I couldn't breathe through those contractions, even with hypnobirthing. So I'm like, no, no, back in the pool. I'm not ready for this.
She's like, I'm not ready for this. And I'm like
Yeah.
holding her while she's peeing and she's like, yeah, no, that's not fun.
So then I got back in the pool and I'm like, you know what? If I have to pee again after this, I'm peeing in the pool. Like I'm not getting out again. It's way more relaxing in here. So then I
Yeah.
just like I'm just laying there most of the time with my back against the wall of the birth pool in the warm water, listening to these tracks, closing my eyes, breathing. Every once in a while, I decide that I want to join a conversation. I talk between contractions. Between contractions, I'm reaching down. I'm feeling the baby, like the baby's head more and more being exposed as I dilate more and more, which was very, very exciting because I couldn't do that with my other births where I wasn't as calm and relaxed. So this time I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Like I'm getting closer. I can feel the baby's head already. I can feel some hair. Like this is really amazing. And then I remember the contractions literally changed, and I was having um, the beginning of the fetal
Pushing
ejection
phase.
reflex,
Yeah.
where the body pushes the baby out on its own. And I had my first contraction like that. They just, I don't know how to even explain them. They just feel different. Like you can feel like your baby like kind of being,
Jolting.
yeah, being like pushed out, which
Hmm.
is crazy. So then now at this point, this is when I was like, does anyone know where Tom is? And you guys, everyone was like, oh, I think he's in the washroom. And I was like, okay, it's not like a huge rush like this exact second, but tell him you might want to wrap it up soon because I think the baby's coming. And then like I had maybe another couple contractions or something before he came in. And then I remember him coming in the room. He was all worried like he was gonna miss the baby. I'm like, no, no, it's okay. The baby's still coming. And I reached down and like most of the head was out now. Like it was getting close to crowning. And then I had to turn over to my hands and knees. It was just my instinct. It was with every baby. And
Mine too.
yeah, and we've talked about this in other episodes. So that I was still listening to the tracks in the background, and it's reminding me of like why I'm doing this. I'm going to be meeting this baby like anytime. I can feel this baby's head down there, and it's going to be so soon. And like each contraction I can get through. I've gotten through however many until this point. I'm going to get through the next one because this baby is coming, and like God created my body to do this. And
Mm.
then every once in a while, like I would say a little prayer in between my contraction, or I would just like vocally be like, "Thank you, Jesus." Like it was just really cool. And then I turned over to my hands and knees, um, probably like just before the baby crowned, I think. And then I could feel the baby was like coming out, and I vocalized a little bit, but then I reached the contraction stops and I reached down again. And now I can feel a face of this baby. And I was like, this is so cool. I can feel the baby's face. And then we're waiting because like the head's out and we're waiting for the shoulders. And my other babies just slid out. So this one did the pause, and I didn't know that that was normal. So I'm like, this is really weird. I'm waiting for a contraction to start because I'm not pushing myself. So then the midwife was like, "Oh, the baby's probably just turning because I feel them
The
moving inside."
shoulders, yeah.
Yeah, I could feel the baby moving inside of me because I'm so relaxed and calm. And I'm like, that is really weird. Like, with this baby's moving. And then she's like, "Oh, it's probably just the baby moving and turning its shoulders." Um, the baby's been out, like the head's been out for me probably a couple minutes. Do you mind if I just help kind of like turn baby a little? I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." Like, still totally calm. And she helps kind of like, she barely touches the baby, like barely turns it. And then another huge contraction comes, pushes out this baby. I'm not doing any pushing on my own. And that's probably like the loudest I was the whole time. And it wasn't even like super loud. And then I grab this baby and like all by myself and like bring the baby up on my chest. And then I turn over to my back again. And I'm like, I did it. I did it. I can't believe it. I hardly made any noise. And I'm like, well, I'm thinking like back, well, obviously, like this hypnobirthing really helped relax me.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
um, the experience, I would say, a huge part of it being as positive as it was, I would say was because of the hypnobirthing that I used.
Yeah, absolutely.
So from the caregiver's perspective, how did it feel for
Like,
you?
it was really crazy. Like, it didn't seem real. I was like, she can't be like having super intense contractions because she's not making noise. But that's what it does, is it causes you to relax everything and not freak out. And yeah, it's just what you did. And it was really cool.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about 2 weeks ago. They were looking for someone for a doula. And I was talking to her a little bit, and she was looking at doing like hypnobirthing, and she did a hypnobirthing course and
Yeah.
stuff. And she's just like, I really hope this works for me. And I reached out to her and I was like, oh, yeah, like if you really do it, absolutely, it will. Like, and I experienced it being a caregiver, being a doula for a friend. And she was like, oh, that's so cool and that's so reassuring. And honestly, yeah, it doesn't seem like it is real. It's like, oh, no way you're that close. But oh
Yeah.
yeah, and Petra barely made any noise. Like, she kind of yelled right when the baby's body was coming out. Like, that was literally it. And other than that, we didn't hear a peep from her. And she's just like focused every single time she had such an intense contraction. And then their baby was. It was so cool. And I would say it definitely works. So if you ever, anyone who's watching this is thinking about doing it, Petra could probably just post the link and show exactly which one she did. She could post a
I'll share it in
Christian
the show
one.
notes. Yeah.
Yeah, post a Christian one and the non one if that's your thing or whatever. But it's nice that they have options for different ones. And
Mhm.
I would say, yeah, if you're thinking about doing it, definitely do it, because now watching and seeing that, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I wish I had something like that. And what would my outcome have been, you know? So, yeah, it was so cool.
That's true, yeah. And, I like that you also mentioned that the one lady told you she did a course for it. There are the courses that teach you. So this Christian Hypnobirthing has a course.
Oh,
So
does
does
she?
so does Hypnobirthing. They have a course.
Hmm.
There's also Hypnobabies, which is the same
Okay.
type of thing, but it's a different company. I don't know as much about them, but I have heard people say really great things about Hypnobabies as well.
Okay, that's good to
And
know.
they have a course as well. So there's lots of options out there if you're wanting to take courses to learn
Hmm.
some of the breathing techniques. Like the breathing specifically, there's a type of breathing you're supposed to do during your contractions. There's a breathing you do in between contractions, which is more like regular type breathing. And then there's the breathing that you do during the pushing phase, which they call J breathing. You're breathing your baby out, is what they oftentimes will say.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So just even if you just learn those breathing techniques alone, that's huge in helping relax the body.
Well, that's huge. That's what I learned. As soon as you tense up, like it's
Yeah.
like 50 times worse. But as soon as you like when they say, like, really the hee hee hoo hoo, like that ridiculous,
Yeah.
like that, I wouldn't recommend that. But like really like breathing and like
Mhm.
really releasing it, it's so beneficial because as soon as I did that, I had control over how I felt and the pain. But as
Mhm.
soon as you let that go, like, you're literally screwed. Like, it is not good for anyone.
Mhm.
So,
That's true.
yeah.
And then you mix that calm breathing with visualization techniques,
Yeah.
which can be something as simple as just visualizing the baby coming down, and the contraction is that baby's head making its way out slowly, little bit by little bit, right? Just different types of visualization, but that's just one example.
Yeah.
Some people will say, like, imagine your cervix is like a blooming flower, blooming a little bit more with each contraction,
I've
opening.
heard that too. Yeah.
Um, and then you also mix it with relaxation techniques. So then these are things like the one that I really liked was the what did they call it? It's like the glove. So you're laying there. You're not actually moving anything of your body, but you're
Hmm.
imagining that you have a glove on your hand, and as that glove touches any part of your body, that body part just relaxes.
Oh,
So
yeah, 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 yeah.
you're
You told me
imagining
about
that
that.
you touch your forehead, and now all of the forehead muscles, they just relax
Hmm.
and they're not tensed anymore. And then your jaw and
Yeah.
your mouth, your lips and your tongue. And then you kind of like go down your body all the way.
Yeah.
And when you practice doing stuff like that, then when the time comes, all you have to do is just be reminded, like, about the glove. Touch the body part. Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm gonna imagine touching that body part. Okay, now I can like fully relax, like as if my body's just sinking into the bed or chair, wherever you're laying, right? So then you use um there's like various techniques, but like use the breathing
Hmm.
techniques, use the visualization techniques, use the relaxation techniques, and use gratitude techniques, where you're just um, being reminded about how grateful you are for everyone that you have supporting you, for this baby that you're about to have, for everything, right?
Hmm.
And when you put all of those things together, it makes for this really relaxed, calm environment.
Yeah.
And the one common thing people always say is that hypnobirthing babies are pretty much always born like quieter and more like just relaxed, like they're just really chill.
Hmm.
And that's just
I've heard
something
that.
very, very common. And that did happen with us. Like this baby was born, and my husband is really worried that she's not breathing and not making noise. I'm like, oh no, she's fine. And he's like, but she's quiet. She's not making noise.
I'm like, she's okay.
But it's
Yeah.
because she was born in this calm
Yeah.
environment, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so different.
Yeah.
If it's like a traumatizing environment, it can be really hard on the baby, but absolutely.
It's true.
Yeah.
And midwives who are attending births that where hypnobirthing is used, they'll always say the same thing too. They'll say it's a lot calmer experience just in general because they can watch the moms relax and be able to actually enjoy their birth. Like that, I would say that the birth was still really hard because it took a lot of focus to stay that relaxed, but
Yeah.
it was a good experience still.
Absolutely.
And I'm, as much as I know how much work I have ahead for this baby that's coming soon, I am looking forward to being able to use this again because it was such a good experience that I'm like, you know what? I know I can do this again. And I will do
You
this.
absolutely can. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You
And
will in the next, like, anytime after 7 weeks.
yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, it is. So we'll see how this goes, but I'm definitely planning to use the same thing again.
Yeah, totally. And then she'll get to share all about it
Mm-hmm.
after. Yeah, so good. Yeah, I would say it works. So if you're thinking about using hypnobirthing, absolutely, I say do it. Got
Yeah.
nothing to lose and a lot to gain,
Mm-hmm.
and could have that birth of your dreams. So,
Mm-hmm.
on that note, yeah,
It's true. If you do have any questions, you can always reach out to us and we'll answer them.
yeah, of
And
course.
if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe and follow, like our video, share it with anyone who you think might be interested in learning more about hypnobirthing
Yes, absolutely.
as well. Whether it's their first baby, whether it's their eighth baby, it really doesn't matter. It's never too
Yeah,
late to learn about it.
never too late.
Hmm.
Yeah. So thanks, guys, for being with us.
Yeah.
Until next time.
What
What the
the mom?